My name is Rathi. I'm a leadership coach, book coach, author, and speaker. And I today we're having another guest, and my client Lisa, and she's a published author and best-selling author. And I'm super excited to talk about your whole story, your whole author's journey. And actually it's not a whole one because there's so much more that's gonna happen. So this is just it's a beginning, right? The first vibes of it. So Lisa, I'll open it up for you to share about yourself. And before you do that, I'm just gonna show you Arise, Shine, and Live. It's now available on Amazon. I'll let Lisa introduce herself. Go ahead, Lisa.
Thank
Welcome.
you. So exciting to be on your podcast here. And yeah, so I am also a podcaster, an author, a writer. I work in an office full time during the week, but on weekdays, or weeknights, I'm thinking about the next column I'm going to write because I'm a columnist for a newspaper and what books I'm going to write next. But I just did publish Arise, Shine, and Live on resilience, faith, and bipolar disorder. And this is a memoir, work of love and lots of healing went into this while I was writing it. So it was a really wonderful process. And of course, it was so great to have you on board on my team to actually bring this dream into reality. So it's been a great journey.
Awesome. Lisa, thank you so much for joining me to share about your journey. And I know this is going to help a lot of experienced writers out there that are looking to publish, that are waiting, and they just need that little hint of motivation or, I can do it too kind of moment, right?
Yeah.
I know that you worked on your manuscripts already with a team that you already had, and you reached out and you're like, Rassi, I need help with the next steps. If you can share a little bit, like what motivated you to reach out for support, and yeah, just a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I had already written my book as over the past 4 years. I wrote a column for a newspaper and I decided to use those columns as chapters in my book. I was working with an editor and we were working back and forth and editing all of the pieces to make it smooth and easy to read and just a great book. But then I needed like more help. I needed the next step in the process. And I was talking with a friend. We went for coffee, and we happened to meet at a dance in the summer. And so it was just like a acquaintance that I'd met, and we were just chatting about our dreams and our goals and our projects that we were working on. And I told her I was writing a book, and she said, "I have a friend who's a book coach, and to help you with your book." And I said, "Well, yeah, I need a cover design. I need like someone to design the book for me, format it so that I can publish it on Amazon because I'm self-publishing." And she's like, "Yeah, she's the perfect person to help you with your book." I'm like, "This is it. This is exactly what I need. I'm looking for someone to help me with the next steps of my book to get it from, a Word document into this beautiful project." Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So that's how I was motivated because I had already had the editor working on my book and I was like, I just need somebody to help me with the next steps. And you came along because of my friend mentioning your name. So it was just serendipitous. It was beautiful.
It was meant to be, and I just love how it's such a small world that we live in, right?
Yeah.
Your book, it threw me off. Like I didn't even expect like what happened while I was reading it. And I remember when you sent me your manuscript, I'm like, I'm gonna read it this Saturday and I'm gonna finish it. And I just didn't expect like what happened like for me. I remember I had like power naps like in between because I felt the need to meditate, right? Like after I read like multiple chapters, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel at peace. I feel grounded, and I just feel at ease, right? Like there was this calmness with each, and just knowing that I'm not alone, like going through different challenges of what I've experienced in the past. and I could relate to some things. And I have family members that I've gifted your book to that will benefit from it. And if you can share with us, like, why did you write Arise, Shine, and Live? Why this book?
Yes. So I wrote Arise, Shine, and Live because as a woman who struggled with mental illness for many years and went through ups and downs of having bipolar disorder and being diagnosed and all of the things that go with that, taking medication, all of those things, I wanted to reflect on the time that I, went through, all the struggles I had and the ups and the downs, the people I met, the self help tips that I learned, just yeah, all of the things that helped me. I wanted to share that with the world because I wanted to have because when I was going through those things, I was like looking for what I wrote, basically. Like I was looking for someone who understood what it was like to not be able to get up out of bed in the morning or to have suicidal thought or ideation or to be depressed or to be manic. So I wanted to kind of share my experience to be like, it's okay to have an illness. You aren't your illness. And that's okay to, have one and that you can still live a full life, that you can find hope, that it does get better. And yes, I wanted to spread these messages of hope and joy and well-being to the world because that's what I was looking for when I was 17 and struggling and not knowing I didn't know what mental illness was at that. So yeah, for me, it was just hopefully like a gift to the world to be like, this is what it's like to have a mental illness for me. Everybody has a different story and a different struggle. This is what it was like for me, and you can be okay. And it's okay to struggle. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to ask for help. So yeah, this is exactly why I wrote the book to give hope. And for me, it was a healing journey because writing was very cathartic. It was very calming and peaceful. And I realized, just even rereading the book, I'm like, I still need to hear this now. Like I still need to hear these messages now.
Yeah, one of my friends, new friends, Betska, that's her name. And I was recently on her podcast, her and Raj's podcast, and she said we were talking about like the author's journey and writing in general, right? And she's like, authors and writers, we usually write for ourselves first, right? And then we give this gift to the world. I can totally relate to that. There's so many times I go back and read different chapters in my book because I need it in that moment. And yeah, like, and I know you probably had so many different breakthroughs, Lisa. Maybe you can share like a little bit. You can share one or two or three, and what was that like for you?
Sure. Yeah. So the first breakthrough, I think, was when I went to a workshop that was hosted by Sanctuary Mental Health Ministries. And it was a teaching workshop about what mental illness is, what mental health is, what is it like to flourish and languish. So it was really about language around mental illness and mental health, which I found very helpful. And I was talking to my friend who also attended that workshop, and I said, I'd really like to write about my journey, but I don't think I want to put my name because the stigma. I want it to be anonymous. So that, but then, I was going through this journey and I realized, no, if I'm anonymous, I'm continuing the stigma and I want to be known for who I am and for the journey that I've been on. So I pitched an idea to an editor of a newspaper to host a column on mental health and faith. And that started me on writing little essays, first person essays about my mental health and faith journey. So that was the first breakthrough. Yeah. And then the second breakthrough was I found a coach, a storytelling coach named Tom Schlesinger, who is an American, and he works with big film companies like Lucasfilms and Columbia Pictures. And he helps them kind of hash out a story or figure out what genre they want to write, or he can help with all kinds of things around storytelling.
Mhm.
And so I met with him over the phone, and we talked about my story. And he's like, wow, this is great writing. He's like, yeah, and you could go here, you could go there, or this is what you could do. And, he was talking about what a story is and how to write a good story. So having him as a storytelling coach, I guess, and consultant really helped me realize that what I'm writing was good and to continue. And so that was really helpful to me to have him coaching me and sharing that, yeah, it's a good story, and this is how you can improve it, and this is what you can do to get it out there. Yeah.
Wow.
Second,
That's sorry, go ahead. Yeah, that was the second breakthrough. Do you have a third one?
go ahead, you're going to say something?
Good.
Yeah. And then the third breakthrough, I have to say, was meeting you.
Oh.
I then had the whole story laid out, I had it edited, and it was just ready to go. And I just needed the next push to get it to a product, to get it into people's hands. And you were the catalyst, you were the coach and encourager, motivator, and you helped me because, like, yeah, deadlines. There was deadlines, there was goals, and we met them. Each one we met, and I was so impressed with the whole coaching experience. And I just I can't say enough of it. Like, I've been sharing with my friends, like I've shared with two friends already, like, you need any help with your writing, be Rafi, because it's, it's one thing to be a writer and to be writing on your own, but to have that support of, you know, knowing, like, yes, what you're doing is good. This is where you can improve. This is how you can get it out to the world. This is how you can really market. Um, Not all writers have that experience and knowledge, and we need others to, we need a community. And so that is, yeah, that is why I was really happy to meet you. And that was my greatest breakthrough.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure like working with you, and I'm super grateful for the referrals that you sent my way. I think it's really awesome, like with your all three of your breakthroughs is you have the courage to ask for help and you use that. And I think that's probably something right now with any writer that's listening or an author, you're ready to publish, you have that manuscript ready, you don't have to do it alone. And like even before I wrote Lead in Your Truth, I reached out to 30 different authors, like on Insta. I stopped counting at 30 on Instagram and LinkedIn because I know like how powerful it is when we tap into our community, when we tap into people who have done it before. And even with the storytelling, I could feel that when I read your book. It's every single chapter is so easy to read and follow and be there with you, right? And I love the quotes at the end. I'm not going to spoil it, but you got to pick up a copy at Amazon to know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so Lisa, the next thing like as an author, and you've published articles in the newspaper, and now you have Arise, Shine, and Live. What would be your advice to authors and experienced writers that are stuck and they yet to publish, and they're like going through this limbo, because every writer does it, right? Like we go through that, like what's going to get me unstuck? What's your advice for that to them?
Yeah, I would say find a community of writers, find people, mentors, and coaches who can help you to continue with your craft and continue with your project, because everybody has a story and every story is worth telling. And we want to hear your story that you're working on. And so don't give up. Keep on writing, keep on working on it. If you're stuck, ask for help. Find a coach, find a mentor, find a buddy who's a writer and who also is in the thick of it and can relate and can motivate and inspire. And yeah, that's what I would suggest, is just find your people, and you can do great things. You can accomplish your goals. You can be a published author. It's really exciting.
Yes, yes. It's so possible. It's very possible. And I'm sure you can say more to this, like the doors that open after
Mm.
you put it out there and now it's in people's hands, right? Um yeah, Lisa, where can people find you if they're like, I want to connect with Lisa, I want to have a conversation with her? You know,
Yeah.
you said to the authors and the writers that are listening in, like, go find people and connect, have a buddy. How can they buddy up with you?
Yes, yes. On Instagram, I'm at Resilient Lisa. On YouTube, I'm Lisa Rumpel, and I have my podcast episodes there. And yeah, that's where you can find me. And my book again is on Amazon. So Arise, Shine, and Live, if you want to get a copy. But yeah, if you want to connect with me on Instagram at Resilient Lisa, I'd be happy to talk to you and yeah, connect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa, for saying yes to this interview and conversation. It's been such a pleasure working with you, and I can't wait to see what more the next things that happen for you with Arise, Shine, and Live, and probably more books. I anticipate there will be more books. uh, sorry, say that again.
Rossi, for having me on today.
It's my pleasure. Well, for our audience listening, you heard it. You can go and connect with Lisa. I'll actually put her information in the comments or in the description section of this recording. And when it comes to writing, you can always tap into your community to get some support. And yeah, all the best and take care.